it's Tuesday. Tuesday's the day I turn a pen. And I film it for you guys to watch. Oh yes I do. Sorry for my terrible singing, I'm mediocrely tone deaf, so there's that. You see, you guys learn something new about me every day. Anyways, today I'm going to be making a pen out of some aromatic red cedar. On with the pen making! This right here is a piece of aromatic red cedar that is a cutoff from several larger logs that I picked up recently. So we're going to start this guy out by taking our brass tube and marking a marking. We're going to start out by taking our brass tube and making a little mark there. Maybe just a little bit oversized. And making another little mark there. Now I would normally cut this out at my bandsaw, but my bandsaw currently has this huge mill blade on it, and I don't think that's going to be very nice for ripping up a pen blank. So instead I'm going to cut it with a fine tooth blade on my table saw. I have my little homemade drill press pen blank drilling jig here. And this is just a 2x4 ripped in half with a notch in the middle, and a bolt and a wing nut and 2 washers on either side. Anyways, I have my 7mm drill bit in here. I'm going to go ahead and drill straight through. Tubes into the pen blank, but there are a couple things I want to do first. For one, I'm going to take just a Scotch-Brite here and go ahead and just remove the shine and the luster from this pen, the brass tube. That way, you're guaranteed a much stronger bond between the wood and the brass tube. I have a pencil here, and with the 7mm slimline tubes, they fit perfectly just over the edge. That way I don't have to get my fingers too sticky. And I like to use a medium CA glue. Just run a couple beads in there, and I've actually developed quite the strategy here for gluing these in. And here it is. I like to push it in from one side. I like to twirl it. Okay. Scrape off that excess and push it in through the other side, because then you already have the other end coated. And we'll just go ahead and push that guy in there. Okay, now I like to use just a quick little spritz of activator on each end of the pen blank, just to start the curing process, and I'll let this sit for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Now, to trim up the bottom of these, I would normally take these to my disc sander that was on my old lathe, but I have since then acquired a barrel trimming set, and this guy comes with different size cutters, I guess you'd call them. I'm just going to go ahead and find the 7mm, and it has this thing here, and I don't know exactly what these things are called, but these guys just slip into one another, so you have your standard pen tube sizes for this. That slips over that, and there's a little set screw in there that tightens down to the cutter thing, and that is that. So this guy will go into the drill chuck on your drill press. Then we can put our pen blank back into the vise. Then we can go ahead and drill this out. first, and I can follow that up by one of the slimline bushings. I did actually forget to mark the grain orientation on this earlier, but I just found it again, so I'll just go ahead and slip these pieces on. I'll put on the final pen bushing. And I have this fancy live center for turning pens, and it has a hole in it so that that can slip over the top of my pen mandrel. This way I'm applying pressure directly to the pen bushings instead of to the pen mandrel itself, so that will avoid bowing or warping my pen mandrel. Now I can slip on my new dust collection hood for this guy. And I close this up, and we can start turning. Last week's build video where I made this dust collection box, I initially said that I did not like how well this worked with wood turning just the chips. It didn't really collect them too great. But I have to say, that piece was big, and I don't know if it was the type of wood or the aggressiveness of a cut, but it's working much better now for some reason. I have a better opinion of this. If you can see, all the chips went right on in there. And it helps that it's warming up here in southeast Michigan, and it's a lot more humid outside today than it is yesterday. It's currently 50 degrees, so I think that the dryness of the air had a lot to do with the static and the wood chips sticking to the plexiglass. But anyways, we'll continue turning. So I have a really neat finishing cut to show you guys for a pen, and generally I use just the roughing gouge to turn my pens. I used to use a skew, but I have no need for it anymore because I figured out how to make a skew cut with the roughing gouge. This requires me to turn the roughing gouge upside down like this, and if you can picture this edge just like the skew, all I have to do is just ride my bevel just like that. So now I have all of my sheets of sandpaper. I have 150, 240, 320, 400, 600, and I'm all out of 800, but I do have a quick 2000 wet or dry sandpaper, so that's just going to be for a quick burnish at the end of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sanding, and one thing that this dust collector setup I have does really well is catch the sanding dust. I mean, you will not believe, nothing makes it out of this guy. So let's go ahead and start that. This is what I like to use for my wooden pens. This is a General Finishes brand polyacrylic. It is a water-based top coat, and I like it as gloss. So this stuff isn't your typical pen finish. A lot of guys don't use this type of thing for a pen finish, but I don't see why not, because I actually made a pen for my mother I think it was 3 years ago now. And I used this pen finish on there, and that gloss is still there. Nothing's chipped away, and a lot of other finishes that I've had experience with either just wear away too quickly or they're messy to work with. Like CA glue I've experimented with. I really don't like CA glue because it's so sticky, it's messy to work with, and I have never been able to get a good finish with it. I know some guys can get a really beautiful finish. Bob Blandford, the RJB wood turner, is one of them. I've seen his CA finishes, and it always comes out great. But I have never had that kind of luck. So polyacrylic takes a long time. It is about 20 minutes to dry, or dry enough for the next coat anyways. But you have to put on at least 7 coats to get any kind of a gloss film worked up on there. So it is a very involved process. It looks awfully nice though. Okay, well here they are, all finished up. It came out really nicely. I think I went up to 8 coats of that polyacrylic, and now I'm going to assemble it. Okay, and that's it. I think it came out really nicely. Everything works fine, and I actually do have the grain lined up the way it was in the piece of wood. And for just being red cedar, this came out really, really lovely. Okay, guys, hope you all enjoyed that. I haven't made a Pen Turning Tuesdays in a while, and it feels good to get back into it. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm about to hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm nearly there. I think there's less than 10 to go. So if you're thinking about subscribing, do it right now, and it'll bring me that much closer to 1,000 subs. And also, if you subscribe, you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Tune back in next Friday for a new video on this channel, and until then, I will see you all soon. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you have some kind of a mobile device with Wi-Fi, which means you can visit my website too. Yeah, www.peterturnswood.com. You should go check that out.